to achieve with his hands.
In other scenes, Smith broke new ground with his use of air bladders, carefully controlled balloons that expand and contract to create movement.
The first time I had to use a bladder was on The Exorcist. And you remember little Linda Blair at one point has her throat blow up like a bullfrog. When it came to altered states, this was a far more complex thing. I couldn't simply put a balloon or something underneath the skin.
Instead, Smith had to mold expandable tubing, which was nearly flat and could conform to Hertz's arm.
What he had done was he'd used balloons and a harmonica device and compressed air. That was it. I laughed because, because it was so effective and so simple.
The filming of Smith's bladders and full body suits was anything but simple. But the care he had taken in the design of the elaborate appliances enabled Hurt to endure the many hours he was required to spend encased in foam latex. In 1985, after 40 years in the business, he was honored with an Academy Award for his work on Amadeus. Today, Smith passes on the knowledge of his half-century career through a comprehensive makeup course he has designed for advanced students. He also lectures and conducts seminars at the Yoyogi Animation School in Japan.
Also, the director may say, I don't like that, no, change it. When I was contacted by a Japanese school in Tokyo that wanted to start a special makeup effects course, I agreed to license my course to them and also to go over twice a year to give lectures or demonstrations.
A special highlight for these students is when Dick shows off the skills that won him an Academy Award as he ages one of their fellow classmates by 50 years.
Time is always your enemy. You try to find shortcuts so that you can get the most art into the creation. Well, to me, there's a great sense of magic and wonder and even something godlike about changing a human face or an actor or person into something entirely different, a creature or another person or whatever it is, and having that person come to life. Now, I don't know, I get a great thrill.
Equally as important as Smith's work is his reputation for boundless generosity. Despite his dozens of innovations, he never keeps secrets from his peers, choosing to share all of his formulas and compounds with other artists.
He has inspired me for years and years and years. I carry his memory with me all the time. When I think about quality, when I think about courage, you know, and continuing to go on toward the vision in a humane and compassionate and generous way, I think about him.
Next, the godfather of gore reveals the secrets of some of film's most gruesome illusions. In the morbid realm of horror effects, the rule of thumb is the bloodier, the better. Tom Savini always wanted to be an actor, but fate dealt him another hand. Today, he is recognized throughout the effects community as one of the finest practitioners of gore effects.
I have somehow become the king of splatter. That's because I did Friday the 13th and Dawn of the Dead right in a row. So producers would call me to get the same kind of stuff, I guess.
Even a blood squib, an effects device used to simulate a bullet hit, gets Savini's special touch. After fastening an explosive charge to the back of a protective metal plate, Tom fills a condom with twice the amount of fake blood generally used for squibs. He then tightly wraps the condom to ensure that the blood will not just ooze, but splatter.
Sometimes I feel like an assassin or a hired killer. I load up my car with my little tools in my tray, and I go some strange place and I kill people.
Far from Hollywood, in a blue-collar section of Pittsburgh, Savini oversees a busy workshop where his ghastly creatures and horrific effects are born. Many of Savini's effects involve specially designed props, which can have a shocking effect when applied to an actor or actress. For this scene from Day of the Dead, Savini fashioned a custom cutout shovel, which is used to gruesomely kill a zombie. After the prop shovel is used with the actor, a real shovel is used to finish the job.
Oh! That's pretty good, though.
Hey, Tom.
What now?
Well, it looks like we're out of blood again.
Out of blood again. You're fired. The important thing is to establish the real weapon to give credence, believability, to the fake one. Same thing. Same thing with the hammers. Establish the real one before you use the fake one. Go away, you're fired too.
When the blood starts to flow, Savini uses concealed tubing attached to syringes filled with red liquid to produce the desired effect. This backstabbing rig is comprised of a tube which runs to a syringe filled with the fake blood. By manipulating the syringe, the operator controls both the quantity and the timing of the blood flow. One of the techniques for which Savini is best known is the use of false fronts or dummy bodies. The real arms and head of an actor are combined with a fake body, which is usually being mutilated or consumed. This technique was used in one of Savini's most infamous films, George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and its sequel, Day of the Dead. Zombies were gunned down by the hundreds, but when the Walking Dead managed to catch up with an unfortunate victim, a feast would ensue.
I mean, my job was to sit around and think of ways to kill people. There were some ways in the script, we came up with a lot more of them. So we'd go to George and would say, how about if we take a screwdriver and drive it in some zombie's ear? And George would go, okay. And then we would, 2 hours later, would do it.
Perhaps the most memorable death scene from Day of the Dead was this poor soldier's demise, torn in half and devoured by a mob of hungry undead. Savini first constructed an elevated floor with a hole in it to allow actor Joe Pilato to hide his body from the chest down. He then attached a foam latex body section to Joe's shoulders and arms, complete with a large cavity to hold the blood and guts. The fake body technique is not as simple as it first appears.
Couldn't lay the body on me, right now the way I am, and have it look real, even if I put my head back. My chest has to be up for it to lie on, so it looks like the continuation of my shoulder line into the chest.
With the fake body and actor in perfect alignment, Savini has created one of the most vivid and gruesome death scenes ever shown on the big screen. Images like these may not be for everybody, but at the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors, an eccentric group gathers each year to pay tribute to their favorite directors and stars. Their heroes appreciate the attention, knowing they may never get the respect they deserve from the filmmaking community.
In Hollywood, it's okay for a horror film to save a studio, but it's still not the class act. But in Europe, the horror film is as important as American jazz, as westerns, as gangster films. It's one of the things that Hollywood does great.
Horror films don't stand for things that you can point to when you're walking down the sidewalk, but if you extract from them what they're really about, these sort of subconscious realities, then we all do have these elements. We all do have Freddy Krueger.
And action.
The startling images which provide this kind of big screen impact are the contributions of the unique effects artists who practice this dark craft. Whether it's the bizarre characterizations of Pinhead or Freddy Krueger, the groundbreaking artistry of Dick Smith, or the morbid manifestations of Tom Savini, the proprietors of Hollywood's fright factories will continue to satisfy audiences who love to be scared to death by this chilling brand of movie magic.